election years. So we expect consumer prices to somewhat taper.
That's where I'm going.
Yes.
Once we have so much money, it's always a threat to inflation. But again, folks would want to spend money, but make sure they get more value. And if they can get less prices, why not?
Exactly.
If I can get it at lower prices, marketplace on the street.
Yeah, I think most especially the traders basically compete, although they are taking advantage of the forex issues that we had initially, but then there are other challenges that they go through. So it's not really from the demand side, it's more from cost. So if we see some sort of flexibility in terms of accessing logistics and accessing FX to which that's somewhat sorted out now, we expect to see moderation in prices. And consumers are still somewhat tight. They don't have that much money to spend. They're still making informed decisions. Do I buy this? And most especially, some are down trading, some are going to cheaper substitutes, and this is forcing other major players now to reduce prices. For example, flour. So now, because most consumers are moving onto other staples, and the big millers are trying to reduce prices so consumers can go back to getting flour.
Let's talk about staples. Rice. I always have the rice conversation. Where is rice? The president on Tuesday hinted that this agreement that we had in 2003 with the neighboring countries in West Africa will have to be dusted up and flashed on everybody's face. Is a criminal offense and an offense against the economy of Nigeria, economic sabotage. That's how it was. That was the phrase way back during the Second Republic, economic sabotage, I remember. That if you smuggle rice across the border, that would be an economic sabotage.
Well, that's a fair point, because if Nigeria is trying to be very self-sufficient in rice production, these guys are working very hard to increase production in the north, with lots of investment coming into that region, and people on the other hand are smuggling rice. So there is that, there's just a mismatch somewhere. So if we have to ban the smuggling of rice, it forces us now to go and consume what we produce locally, and it's going to help the growth in that sector. So I assume that's why.
Is it just about bringing the rice in, or if we produce in here, you also smuggle it out? That should also be an offense, and a very grievous one.
Yes, well, we want to be self-sufficient. At the same time, we want to be able to meet the demand of other producers, not in Nigeria. So, but I'm not sure how that's coming along, but so far, if you look at the price of rice, it was about 23,000 naira last year. So if you do year to date or beginning of the year to now, it's now down to 15. And most of this, I'm going to vary from what you said, but most of this is attributed to the access of FX. So if you look at all the staple foods that we track, really, rice is the only commodity that has literally come down drastically in terms of prices. But I'm not sure. I guess there's a lot of competition. I'd see that's why price of rice is actually much lower. But the rest, I don't see a lot very drastic a decline in price.
Is it still a little bit of a reality that what the Agric Minister, government official says about 9,000 naira per bag of rice, 50 kg, also will say happen by December?
Well, if they have to, I know the lake rice comes up towards any celebratory period, so that's it's kind of subsidized for people, for certain people, so they bring it at a cheaper rate, but then it kind of goes out again. So we could see price of rice come down to 9,000, as the minister said, but then there's like over 20 varieties of rice in the market, I tell you. So they're different price range. You have the high prices, you have the lower ones, and you have the very cheap ones. Depends on the quality that you're looking for. But that'll be good news for consumers anyway. If you can buy rice for 9,000, hey, why not? It's going to be a very lovely Christmas.
Why not? Yes, it's going to be so that the retail price would also come down. A lot of folks listening to this can't just put a bag of rice at home.
Well,
9,000 naira, that's half of a minimum wage.
I hope that is quite optimistic. That is quite ambitious, bringing price down to 9. But depends on the type of rice anyway, because let's not generalize this. There are other types of brands of rice in the market, so there probably is a specific
So have a choice. If I have about 3, 4, 5 different brands, all good, right quality, and also good for me, why pay 9,000 if I can pay 7,000 for another brand?
Higher for another brand, you mean? So if you're
yeah, but no. From 9,000, I don't want to go higher.
Well, yeah, then
are we bargaining here?
Then I guess you'd have to stick to 9,000, because if you're going to look for
quality, if you give me the headroom as 9,000, I'm looking for a cheaper price.
Yes. Then, yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot more. So if you go to the market now, rice starts from 16,500 to as low as 12,000, 13,000, depends on the brand and the quality you want to
I'm
buy.
going to take a decision. 16,000 per bag of rice looks on the high side. I can still do with half bag. I'm going to take a decision very soon.
Depends on what you can afford at this point.
Yeah, I got a very small micro family, okay. So I'm going to do microfinance.
Okay.
It's just for those who's got a very large families.
Yes.
I'm just wondering how they're going to do. But again, if I'm not eating rice, I got beans. I got a few other substitutes.
Exactly. There are other staples as well. But so far,
But rice just seems to look very sweet on the table, even when you're not eating it. And you're looking at someone else eating it. Why is it about rice, really? What makes it so attractive?
just consumer preference. Everyone loves rice.
Everybody just like it. You walk into a restaurant and you see folks eating every other thing. And as soon as you see rice, everybody seems to gravitate towards it.
Yeah. It's what most people like, and it's not just here in China as well. So it depends.
Psychology is just about something in our head.
You can do a lot with rice, really. But then there's pasta, there's yam, but rice is still the basic.
Rice looks like the king of the grains.
Yes. But yes, exactly. It is the king of the grains all over the world anyway.
Okay, I'm going to find out how you're doing this Christmas and year-end, what type of rice you're eating. Maybe I'm going to pay you a visit.
Okay.
But let's leave it there and find out how much you're buying a bag of rice.
Okay.
Ada, do have a great for the rest of the week. And there's a lot of vehicular traffic right in front of us here at Channels Television.
Yeah.
And that's all the way. And there's some religious service going on.
Yeah, that's
and it could be very, very nasty. You better get going. You better get going. Okay. Thank you very much. Ada Konobi from Financial Derivatives, one of the economists and research analysts. Let's come back to you after the break and continue the programming.